Hey, friends, it is another Friday, and I know you've been building wins all week, and we're going to do what we do every single Friday at 3 p.m. is we're going to build another win together. And today we've got my friend Cynthia from ST Fastening Systems. She's actually the Director of Quality at the Hillman Industrial Solutions Group, which is what ST Fastening is part of, a company that I've been proud and blessed to represent for 20 plus years already. So we're going to talk today about her career, where she got started. She lives a very interesting life. And we're talking a lot about quality and the importance of quality in a company and how all the departments work together and anything else that Cynthia wants to talk about. You're going to love Cynthia. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Hey, Cynthia, how are you?
Fine. How are you, Randy?
Good, good. Thank you for coming on.
Oh, absolutely.
You know,
Anytime.
well, I figured that when I asked you to be on, it was after I bought lunch because I know as a sales guy, right? It all runs through the belly, whether you're a man or a woman, right? You feed them and then you ask for the order, right?
Absolutely. And I'm always easier to deal with on a full stomach. So maybe you should have bought me lunch today.
I may have. Well, I'll tell you what. Next week in Indy, lunch on me. How's that?
You got it.
Yeah, that's perfect, perfect. Well, but again, thank you for being on. We've known each other for about a year now
Yeah.
since
Yeah.
you
About that.
and about a year now, and I was really happy to meet up. Met you the second time in person a couple weeks ago in Ohio, and so let's just roll right into this. I always like to start out with who is Cynthia? What's your background? Give us a little, because I know there's something to do with a vet, and it might be the Honorable Mayor Cynthia. I mean, there's a bunch of things that are pretty important. So let's get a little background before we get started.
Yeah. So as you said, I'm the director of quality for Hillman Industrial Solutions, which involves four companies, including ST Fastening. I am also the mayor of a very small town, or rather, I should say, thriving metropolis of 177 people called Rochester Village, Ohio, and it's about 40 miles southwest of Cleveland. I am also the board president of the Lorain County Rural Wastewater System, and I sit on a couple of boards, including Rural Lorain County Water Authority, and I'm on the advisory board for the Women in Leadership program at Ashland University. So I keep busy.
I see.
Uh, it, my personal hobbies is, yes, I have a 1973 Corvette Stingray convertible with a 454, and it's the love of my life. Don't tell my husband that,
Okay,
but it is.
I understand. Understand.
And I'm, involved with our local rod and gun club as well as our local historical society.
Gotcha. So, and then the other, so that takes up what, 10% of your time. What do you do after that? You do a little work for Hillman then occasionally?
Just a little bit, only 60 to 70 hours a week. It's not
Is that
that
it?
much.
Okay. I'm sure both of our ultimate bosses, Greg watches this. He'll probably say we should pick that up a little, but we'll deal with that.
Well, I'm being nice for the cameras. How about
I
that?
understand.
I'm being humble.
Humble. I like humble. I like humble. Well, I can tell you, I've told many, and as we roll into the world of quality, one of the best things that we've done at ST, Hillman Industrial Solutions is to bring somebody like you on board, first class, you and your team, and the importance of quality. What we're going to roll into in a minute, but is huge. But before we do that, I do not want to miss one of the most important parts of all this, in my opinion, as a vet lover that I am. I have a son that's a vet. One, thank you for your service. Please tell
Thank
us
you.
just a little bit about your whatever you want to tell us, but about your career in the military.
So I went in. I was one of these ambitious kids. I went and got a degree as a paramedic, an associate's degree as a paramedic while I was still in high school, and joined the Army when I was 17 years old and became a combat medic. So I was with the 101st Airborne, and enjoyed my service with them, and I was in both Panama and Desert Storm.
Wow.
So that's my claim to fame.
Well, again, thank you very much for everybody, because anybody that follows me or will catch this show over the next forever, most are pretty strong supporters of the military, and
That's awesome.
it's greatly appreciated. I never want to let that slide by. America's heroes. So thank you.
We appreciate it.
Yeah, you bet. So you, I think you might have. I don't know if this is the right terminology, but made a tool and die or two in your life. You've been involved with the world of quality for a long time. So for people that we all think of quality and what does that mean, but in Cynthia's world, what does quality mean for a layman that just goes, yeah, quality means I guess somebody makes sure it's kind of okay, I guess, right? But what does quality really mean in Cynthia's world?
So in my world, their quality is two functions. There's quality control and there's quality assurance. Quality control is what everybody, your layman, thinks of as quality. It's the inspectors that go to the machines that are inspecting the product as it comes in the door, that it is inspecting the product before it goes out the door. And the other half of the world is the world that nobody sees, and that's quality assurance. And quality assurance is, I'm sure you've heard of ISO
Mm-hmm.
9001. That's just one qualification certification that you can get under quality. Uh, Medical industries have their own, aerospace has its own, automotive has its own that they all use. And what that entails is your quality system. And your quality system is not just inspection, it's everything from the way you qualify people that supply product and material to you, all your processes from the time you receive that product in the door until it leaves your facility. It is how you um, make sure and measure and verify what your product is supposed to be at. It's controlling all of your documentation. It's everything that runs the business is your quality assurance. And it's creating the system and the processes and the risk assessments that go into making that system and therefore your company profitable.
So they're separate ideas or concepts, but they have to work together pretty closely because it sounds like with one and not the other, there's still going to be a breakdown, right?
Yes, absolutely. So, your quality control function is just part of the whole. Quality is everyone's responsibility, from the shipping receiving clerk all the way through to the guy that pulls the last part off the machine to the guy that's setting up the machines. Quality is, it belongs to everybody, and if everybody isn't on the same page when it comes to quality, then your system's going to be a failure. And a big mistake that companies make when they put in quality systems, everybody hears the term ISO 9001 certification, and they get all nervous and scared, and they think, oh, this is too much, it's too complex, it's, I've just got a small company. And that's not the case. The ISO system, the standard, the way it's written, any company can put in an ISO system and make it work for them. And with a quality system is only as good as the people that are going to use it. So if you make your quality system too complex for the guy that's at the machine using it, or anybody else in that is touched by that quality system, then it's going to be a failure. And the only thing you're going to be doing is running around behind the scenes making sure everything is in place for your auditor. On the other hand, if you put in a good quality system that your team believes in and buys into, it's going to take your company places that you never thought you could go.
So you hit on something that's I think pretty important because as I made a note here, just my note, but quality is job one. We've probably heard that
Mm-hmm.
somewhere, but it really, if not, then I'm claiming it. So Wes, make a note. Anyway, but something you said, all departments have to buy in. and
Hmm.
all departments have to be involved. A lot of people that will follow me are in the sales world, and we play just as much a part in this. And what we ought to be paying attention to is the quality in the field, because sometimes we're the first person to recognize there is an issue out here that needs to be dealt with, right? Sometimes we're that first responder, if you will, using your a little parlay on your EMT days, your paramedic days,
Hmm.
right? We're almost the first responder at times, so we have to be out in the field, cognizant of being part of that same team, right?
Exactly. And, if your sales team, if your people out in the field are not giving you that feedback because A, they don't think anything will happen because of that feedback, or B, they just don't believe in you, then you've already lost as a company. You've got to have that free flow of information back and forth, or nothing gets resolved.
Yeah, that makes sense, and we've uh, we've had some great chats over the past several months about quality, and that's why I so much wanted to have you on, because it's the most comprehensive uh, quality can yeah assurance quality, the inspections, all the things that's going on is pretty impressive. And there's things that I think a lot of times, talking about interdepartmental, right? uh, you don't, and I say you, people inside the plant, inside quality control, in production, in procurement, in upper management, don't always know what's really happening down some dirt road in the middle of rural Ohio, just outside of Wellington, Ohio, right? You
Hmm.
just don't know. At the same token, and so that's our responsibility out in the field, and vice versa, I guess, is uh, how many times do people like myself get into the plant and literally walk with Cynthia around the plant and watch what you guys do and all the inspections you do. So I think a lot of what you've been doing very well, and I've been personally involved with the whole team is in seeing this, is all sides, as you said, have to buy in, and all
Hmm.
sides have to be informed and understand fully what the other sides are doing, because it's easy to set inside, right, and go, well, yeah, but it works, kind of. It works, but fine, but it's not. Okay, but it's not, right? Or why aren't you doing this? It's easy for us guys on the outside to go, well, this isn't working. Well,
Right.
give us what's not working, right? And I think I guess my point of all that is, the more we as different teams within the company can be on that same page, is, like you said, the only way it's going to work, right?
Right. I mean, communication is everything. And the biggest failures that I see in manufacturing or distribution or any type of business of this type is the communication is not there. The left hand doesn't know what the right hand's doing. And not only is do you need the communication, because many people have it, but there's not the comprehension. So for different people, you have to speak on different levels, whether it be a layman's level to an engineering level. You've got to be able to switch back and forth between all of those.
Exactly. And so a lot of it sounds like, as director of quality, you find yourself right smack dab in the middle of that. Uh, Everybody is coming to you, right? You've got to try to find not only what's going on from the inspection part of it to the assurance part of the quality control and the quality assurance, but you also got to make sure that you're communicating that and the teams are responding back with each other, and probably get rid of well, he said, she said, and let's just get back to a system, right, of how are we gonna, and that's something I want to talk about. It was kind of a segue, is you talked about systems and how important that is. um, Many times companies talk quality, oh, we're quality oriented, we make quality products, but what does that really mean? Do you have a system that assures that, right? Because I think what you said earlier, if I remember right, is if you don't have a system, that's a statement and a dream. That's all it is, right? But
Right.
go ahead.
But what I think you're talking about, Randy, is yeah, anybody can write up a system, but you have to have the culture to back that system.
Yes.
So, and that every company you walk into, it takes a lot of effort and a lot of playing the middleman to build that culture. And eventually what you get is you begin with people going, oh, I've been doing this job for years, and I know what I'm doing, and this is just a waste of time. And the most dangerous phrase in any language you'll ever find is, we've always done it this way.
Right.
But once you get through, and you can almost, it's funny because you can almost see the light bulb going off when somebody gets it. And then once you cross that hurdle of people getting it and understanding it and buying into it, it's like a tidal wave. It's a tsunami that covers the whole company. And they start actively looking for other places that they can put the information in effect.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think you're exactly right. That's an interesting standpoint. It's it, to tsunamis or the old snowball downhill effect, right?
Mm-hmm.
It works both ways. Snowball downhill can work in a negative, and you literally sometimes can't get ahead of the problem because it's got so out of control. But when good things get in place, it's like almost like you can't stop it if you want to now, right? Because
Right.
everybody's bought in, and I think that's what you're kind of saying.
Yeah, and I've been doing this now for 28 years. And if I didn't learn something new every day, I would call the day a failure. I mean, there is always something you can learn from everybody that you deal with every day. Heck, I learn from you every time I talk to you. I think we
Wow.
had quite a few different things that you discussed in our lunch that, it was great. So anytime you can't be above the learning.
Right. Well, and I think like when you and I talk, it's funny you bring that up because when we talked at lunch, it was incredibly pleasant just to hang out with you, but also from a business standpoint, it was clear that there's nothing off the table here.
No.
Just be brutally honest, and because there's no, in other words, hold no punches, right? This is if
Mhm.
we don't learn and know the real problems and issues we might be dealing with, then how are we going to fix them, right? And the good news, to be clear, is it's not like anything that you and I talk about is not fixable by any means.
Right.
It's just that the goal, the what we're striving for, is perfection, right? Excellence. Perfection we
Mhm.
know will never happen, but excellence is what we're striving for, right? And that's the key. And if we don't have that open communication, which is one of the things that you have really brought to the table, is the ability to just on an email, on a Teams meeting, talking to you personally, is we can just say, Cynthia, no, 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 you're wrong on that one. I think here's what
Mhm.
really is going on, and you need to know this. That's a big deal, right? Because if you don't have that, and I'm afraid to tell you that stuff, then we're not going to get anywhere, right? Because I'm going to hold back the 90, it's all the 80-20 rule, right? I'm going to hold back the 20% that's the most important, right?
Right. And if you don't feel you can trust me, and if you don't feel I'm going to listen to you, then I am only ever going to have one side of the story.
Mm-hmm.
And if I don't have all the information out there that's available when there's an issue, then there's no way I'm going to find a solution that covers all the problems. There just isn't.
Right, right. So you find yourself working from home most of the time, right? How does that? And then you go, and I know you're going to Cincinnati, I think, soon, and you get into Texas, where most of the big stuff as far as the manufacturing and a lot of the things happen. But um, how does that work from a quality standpoint? Obviously, you have to count on your team quite a bit, and how does that play for somebody overseeing that whole thing? Because and the reason I'm interested in that is we've really fallen in, not fallen, it's not a bad thing, but developed ourselves since the 2.5 years ago or so when the world went into lockdown phase, right? That a lot more people are working remotely. How is that working? I'm sure technology plays a super part, but how does that work with what I guess I would see as a little more hands-on position, right? Quality. Uh,
Well, I do travel extensively. I'm gone 2 to 3 weeks of the month. When I am
Oh, you are
here in
that much.
Ohio.
Okay.
Oh yeah, yeah. I
I just thought
am.
you sat home and drove your vet.
Oh, I
Unbelievable.
wish. I've gotten to drive my vet 3 times this summer, so it hasn't been a good summer for the vet. But it's actually in the position I'm in now as a director. In fact, I was just telling Greg this today. It's almost a blessing that I am here and I can spend time here in Ohio because it would be so easy to go into the facility in Cincinnati or to go out to the facility in Texas and just lose myself and become so involved in what's going on there. And I think that would be a detriment to the company because there would be 3 other companies that weren't getting the attention they needed also. So coming here gives me time that I can spread the love where it needs to go.
Right.
I mean, time on site is great and it's valuable, but I also need to have the time apart from any of those so nothing gets too overwhelming, shall we say?
Right. Right. Well, that's an interesting thing because you're with you're director of quality for the Hillman Industrial Solutions Group. So that's not just ST Fastening.
Correct.
There's three other companies, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Correct. We have Pollen Industries, which is the company that I came over to Hillman with, and they are an ISO 9001 certified company that supplies the automotive market. We also have West Coast Washer, which is a company that supplies all the washers for our ST fastening. We also have All Points brand, which I'm looking forward to getting involved in them, and they do structural fasteners for the hurricane industry.
So busy again right now.
Yeah, unfortunately,
Yeah,
yes.
unfortunately, it's one of those. That's one of those industries that it's the silver lining. I guess they catch the silver lining of a bad scenario, but it is what it is, right?
Right. So
So,
yeah, I keep pretty busy with it.
well, I'd say so. And that's got to be a challenge, and it speaks highly of what your capabilities because many people that would be in your position would just have, let's say, an ST fastening systems to be
Mhm.
responsible for. You literally have to switch gears, I assume, numerous times a day at times, right?
Yeah, by the minute often. I mean,
Yes,
it,
it
it,
is.
it gets crazy.
Is that so? So obviously you're pretty systems oriented as you've taught because to be able to make that shift of gears almost on the fly, literally hang up one phone call, one off of one Teams meeting onto the next, into the next series of situations, whatever they are that you're dealing with, that takes a certain level of commitment and responsibility and just what do I want to say? What's that word? Oh, just being smart, right?
I don't know about smart, but I've become very good at prioritizing.
Yes.
It's my day in, day out is constantly prioritizing and reprioritizing.
Yep.
And it's great. I have had the privilege of being able to put in 9 ISO systems for different companies so far. So I'm very process oriented and I can, luckily turn on a dime because, it's what I've learned to do over the years. I don't know if it's a gift or a curse, but it, I can manage it.
Yeah. Well, and that's got to be because it's an interesting. You hear theories and um, about multitasking, for example. There's people that think multitasking is doable and has to be done, and then there's the other side of that, which is that never works. You've got to be isolated on an individual item at the time. I've I coin a lot of phrases for myself that none of them make any sense and they've never caught yet. But one of them is focus multitasking, right? You can. There's no way what you're doing and what I do with managing several states, different types of customers, different products, that I can't be numerous irons in the fire at any given time, right? But I
Hmm.
think you have to develop, and I'm looking for your feedback on this because this is always interesting to me. That ability to, the second that phone call comes in, that email comes in, that Zoom or Teams meeting you jump on, you may have all these other things that are still floating there, but you've got to be able to grab the one that you're
Hmm.
on right now and give it full focus, laser focus, right? Is that
Yeah, and
common sense?
that's exactly what you have to do. I mean, you're looking at all these things coming at you. I could be having, and my daily conversations could be anything from customer complaints to engineering ideas to you know what an inspector did that day, and be dealing with supervisory issues. But the most important thing is you've got to be able to prioritize each thing on how important it is to get done and be able to change that at a second's notice. But you've also got to, when that one thing is comes up that you're working on, you've got to be able to put everything else to the side, and that one thing gets 100% laser focus for whatever time that you're allotting to it. You
Right.
can't have all this other little background information coming in and digging in. You've got to focus on that one thing.
Exactly. So, kind of the last, because you've been very, very good with your time, and I know we've already established you got a lot to do, and we need to carve out because it's fall. This is important to me, so I'm going back to this because you and I are friends. We got to get you some Corvette time yet. So, uh, maybe this afternoon. I think I'm going to approve this. Okay, drive your Corvette today. See what Greg says about that. Anyway, um, what about as we move forward into the balance of the year and into 2023? Do you see quality in all industry, but maybe in maybe more in the construction world or wherever you want to go with that? Is quality seems to be becoming more of a let's do it and let's put the systems in place than just words, right? At least I feel
Mhm.
that way. Is that true, or am I just dreaming that?
No, I don't think you're dreaming it. I think the will is out there in the industry, whether it be automotive, construction, whatever the case may be. The will is out there to do that. But unfortunately, I don't think we have the quality personnel in place to do that. If they were smart, I remember going through my apprenticeship for tool making. And, instead of these different degree programs they have for quality now, they should, I hate to say it, but do what I did and go in there and learn it from the ground up and make it like an apprenticeship program. Because honestly, I've learned more not going the degree program for quality than I ever would have had a chance to, just by doing it every day and seeing not only the things other people are doing right, but the things that they're doing wrong also.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Awesome. Well, listen, thank you. I appreciate your time. Appreciate all you do at the Industrial Solutions. It's going to be world altering, and and I say that from a standpoint of we're just a damn good company to begin with.
Hmm.
But the what I like is that we're identifying that as good as we are, we can always be better, right? And that's the
Exactly.
goal. It's the I always like to talk about that. I said a few minutes ago, but you know, there's there's no such thing as perfect, but you get darn close if you continually search for excellence, right? And that's what we're doing is we're constantly looking to be a little bit better.
Right. And if you're not improving, you're falling behind.
Exactly. Exactly. I love it. Any what did we miss? Anything that any should ask questions that you going, come on, Randy, will you ask me about this? I mean, we talked about the vet, we talked about you, the mayor. I mean that's the important stuff, but
Well, hey, I don't think there's anything we missed. I am looking forward to working, with industrial solutions and especially ST. I think the places we can go with developing that quality system and that product line look for us to be going through the roof,
Hmm.
so to speak.
I like it. Through the roof. I like that. That's awesome. No, I agree 100%. I agree 100%. It all starts with that quality, and the future's bright. And building from where we've been, which has been great. The future is just there's no limit, right? So
Exactly. No,
yeah,
I'm really looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to working with all you guys.
yeah, as we are with you. So, well, with that, Cynthia, thank you. I appreciate your time, and we'll catch up soon someplace. I know we will.
Okay, sounds great.
All right. Cheers, my friend.
See you later. Thank you.
All right. You bet. All right. Cynthia with the director of quality with the Hillman Industrial Solutions Group. And I can tell you, folks, I've met her at ST, talked to her many times on the phone, a lot of team meetings. And as I mentioned earlier, I had the pleasure a couple of weeks ago of having lunch with her. And this lady is top notch. And I love the whole idea of quality and where you go with quality and how you develop those programs. And she's going to take us a long ways. And we're already at a great spot. So, I mean, the future's bright. Anyways, that is it for another Friday. And so, you know what I'm going to do? I am going to go make it a great week, build a lot of wins along the way all week long, and then we're going to come back next week and build wins live again here on Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern. So make sure you catch us anywhere you want to, YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, and remember, we only get one go around, so you got to live it, love it, and own it. You got to love what you do and do what you love, and most importantly, we got to make sure, this is really important, make today your absolute best day ever. Until tomorrow. Cheers, my friends.